After a mother turtle hatched her offspring, she guided them towards the ocean. To reach their destination, they needed to cross a bridge. Unfortunately, one of the little turtles lagged behind. When the tiny creature finally made it onto the asphalt, it was startled by an approaching runaway truck. The driver had been distracted at the wheel, but upon realizing there was an animal on the road, he swerved frantically to avoid it. In his attempt to spare the turtle, he caused a severe accident, leaving the truck hanging precariously from the bridge. The driver was on the brink of falling out of the vehicle when a passing fisherman spotted him. The fisherman promptly called the Paw Patrol for assistance. Ryder and his team quickly arrived at the scene to provide aid. Working together, they secured the accident site. Chase used the hook from his backpack to reach the terrified driver, who initially hesitated to be saved by a puppy. However, Chase persisted and successfully rescued the man. Following the rescue, Ryder turned his attention to reuniting the turtle with its family and commended his team for yet another successful mission. Meanwhile, a few miles away in Adventure City, a street dog named Liberty lived a cherished life despite not having a family. On election day, Mayor Humdinger was elected unopposed after his sole rival withdrew from the race. Despite having no support from the city's residents, Humdinger assumed the position of mayor. Liberty had plans to attend the new mayor's speech at Town Square, but was obstructed by security guards who claimed that dogs were not welcome there per Humdinger's orders. Liberty, however, found a covert way to attend the event unnoticed. During his speech, Mayor Humdinger revealed his plans to transform the city by demolishing public spaces like libraries and museums to make way for new projects. Even the beloved dog park was slated for destruction. Humdinger promised that the city would be unrecognizable once his changes were complete. After the event, Liberty contacted the Paw Patrol, expressing her admiration for the team and informing them of Humdinger's destructive intentions. Determined to help the city's residents, Ryder instructed the pups to prepare for the mission. However, Chase, still haunted by past trauma related to Adventure City, hesitated to join. It was in those very streets that he had been abandoned shortly after birth before Ryder found and took him to Adventure Bay. Understanding his friend's trauma, the young man decided to have a heartfelt conversation with Chase. He reassured Chase that everything would be alright because he was no longer alone. After a brief conversation, he managed to convince Chase to give Adventure City another chance, emphasizing that the city's residents urgently needed the Paw Patrol's help. As Ryder drove the dogs to Adventure City, they had a blast inside the bus, enjoying some snacks during the trip. Meanwhile, Mayor Humdinger broke into the laboratory of Kendra, a brilliant scientist, and inquired about her cloud-sucking machine. He explained that due to rain, his planned fireworks celebration for that night had been cancelled, and he needed to change the weather. Kendra insisted that the cloud catcher was designed for cloud study in the lab, not for controlling the weather. However, Humdinger threatened to shut down her lab if she didn't comply, ultimately forcing Kendra to activate the cloud catcher. The machine started its work, dispersing the clouds and making way for a sunny day. Kendra monitored the device's capacity using a remote control, but the mayor stole it, claiming ownership. Minutes later, the Paw Patrol arrived at their new headquarters, where Ryder presented a city map. That night, Humdinger gathered a large crowd to witness his fireworks show. Anxious for the spectacle, he decided to release all the fireworks simultaneously, with his feline helpers aiding in the process. However, this reckless action resulted in a catastrophe. The uncontrolled fireworks caused accidents and explosions throughout the city. Residents sought shelter to avoid harm, and Liberty fled in search of a safe haven. Inside their tower, the Paw Patrol sensed that something was amiss and soon discovered the disastrous situation caused by the mayor's fireworks display. They urgently prepared for their mission, donning their costumes and jumping into their new vehicles before heading to the scene. However, they encountered an unexpected traffic jam. Liberty offered to help them find a shortcut, and within minutes, the patrol reached their destination. Mayor Humdinger was furious to see them. While Chase secured the perimeter, Marshall and Rocky worked tirelessly to extinguish the fires with their water cannon. Security guards removed the mayor from the chaotic scene and left. As Chase spotted people trapped on a balcony, he deployed his parachute to reach them for assistance. However, just as he reached them, his parachute filled with air and pulled him away. Realizing that the young cub was in grave danger, Ryder sprinted to help him. Marshall swiftly employed his water cannon to extinguish the flames that were perilously close to engulfing his friend. With their combined efforts, they successfully rescued Chase. Chase, however, felt deeply embarrassed by his performance and was saddened by the realization that he had almost hindered the mission. Meanwhile, as Humdinger watched the news, he seethed with anger as the reporter praised the Paw Patrol. In a fit of rage, he ordered his subordinates to eliminate every one of those dogs. The next morning, Liberty drove her cart through the streets and excitedly recounted her adventurous night to Tony, the owner of the fruit stand. She described it as the best day of her life, as for a brief moment, she felt like she was part of the Paw Patrol. Before leaving, Tony warned her about the new trails the mayor was constructing and advised her to stay far away from them. Despite several hours passing since it was last activated, the cloud catcher remained active and was nearing its containment capacity. However, Humdinger showed no concern and relished in another sunny day. Kendra tried to warn the mayor about the device's situation, but he callously ordered his men to eject her. That afternoon, Humdinger was occupied with the inauguration of his latest invention, which aimed to bring more adventure to the city. He had designed roller coaster tracks to run alongside the subway without warning passengers. Humdinger even ordered one of his cats to tamper with the track of the next train. Passengers were caught off guard as the train made unexpected turns, resulting in an accident that left the cars hanging upside down. Realizing his invention had turned into a disaster, Humdinger fled, leaving yet another predicament for the Paw Patrol to handle. The frightened passengers urgently called for help from Ryder and his team, who quickly arrived on the scene. Liberty also appeared in her cart to offer assistance. Rocky and Rubble were dispatched to prevent the bridge from collapsing, while Sky used her helicopter to stabilize the rails while quick-drying cement set in place. Chase was assigned the task of rescuing the passengers. He climbed to the top of a building to create a zip line to reach the stranded wagon. However, fear paralyzed him, rendering him unable to act. Sky realized the situation and contacted Ryder, who directed Chase to rescue his friend and bring him back to the ground. Marshall was then called upon to replace Chase. He used his fireman's ladder to reach the passengers, and through gentle persuasion, he successfully convinced everyone to come down. Witnessing Chase's sadness, Ryder immediately embraced him, taking full responsibility for the situation. The boy hadn't anticipated the negative impact Adventure City would have on his friend, and now that he understood Chase's distress, he decided to relieve him from missions temporarily. Hearing this decision, Chase felt wronged and furious. He bolted away, with Ryder chasing after him. However, Chase managed to hide between the cars and vanish from their sight. Seeing the dog alone in the streets, the mayor's henchmen recognized the perfect opportunity to eliminate one of the Paw Patrol members. The group continued searching for their friend until they discovered his collar. Ryder began to fear that something terrible had happened to the puppy. At that moment, Liberty appeared and suggested questioning the city's residents to gather information about Chase's whereabouts. Meanwhile, Chase found himself transported in a trunk to an obedience school where he would seemingly never be found. Conversing with his fellow inmates, he came to realize that the whole ordeal was orchestrated by the mayor to eliminate all the dogs in the city. On the other side of town, Liberty guided her new companions to a convenience store where her friend Carmen worked. Ryder inquired if Carmen had seen the dog in the photo, but she hadn't. However, she asked Ryder to place the poster on her wall alongside several others, revealing that many dogs had mysteriously disappeared in the last 2 days, leaving the boy suspicious that Humdinger was capturing the animals. Liberty hatched a brilliant plan to get herself captured so that Ryder could track her and, in turn, find Chase. During an interview with the mayor, Liberty jumped into his lap, creating a commotion and drawing attention to herself, which led to her capture. Upon arriving at the dog school, Liberty requested to see Chase and quickly located her friend. Moments later, the Paw Patrol arrived at the scene, breaking through the walls to free the puppies. The 2 security guards entered the room to investigate the commotion, but were promptly subdued. As the doors to all the rooms opened, all the dogs were liberated. Ryder then asked the rest of the dogs to return to their headquarters while he and Chase embarked on a separate mission. The boy brought his partner to the very street where he had found him, sharing a heartfelt story of their first meeting. Ryder explained that Chase was the bravest puppy he had ever seen, which boosted the dog's confidence and determination to resume his duties. Just as the cloud catcher made its final collection before breaking down, the mayor was about to announce another inauguration. However, Kendra appeared and attempted to retrieve the remote control to reclaim her machine, preventing an impending disaster. In an attempt to stop Kendra, Humdinger destroyed the cloud-catching device. The scientist rushed to warn everyone about the impending danger, but the mayor interrupted her and ordered his guards to remove her. Undeterred, Humdinger inaugurated the Humdinger Tower, boasting about how he had constructed it atop Adventure City's tallest building, making it the world's tallest structure. He proudly placed his office at the very top. At that moment, the cloud catcher reached its maximum capacity and malfunctioned, releasing clouds throughout the city and causing a massive storm. Faced with her worst fear coming true, Kendra urgently called Ryder, seeking the Paw Patrol's assistance in dealing with the catastrophic storm. Liberty watched as each of her colleagues departed in their special vehicles, elated to be a part of the team. Ryder, the last to leave the headquarters, informed her that he had a gift for the newest team member. Overwhelmed with joy upon seeing her new vehicle, Liberty raced to join her partners, bidding farewell to her trusty rusty cart. While most of the team focused on evacuating the residents to safety, Skye used her helicopter to reach the malfunctioning machine and formulated a plan to destroy it. The streets were soon empty and everyone was secure. However, Zuma spotted a vehicle in the water and enlisted Liberty's help in rescuing a stranded family. Zuma's vehicle transformed into a submarine, allowing him to open the vehicle door and guide the family to Liberty's lifeboat. Ryder and Chase worked tirelessly to evacuate the last residents from the streets. A reporter mentioned that the mayor was still in his office at the tower's pinnacle. Ryder rushed to rescue him and instructed the dog to take the remaining people to a shelter. In the office, the cats grew increasingly anxious due to the raging storm. Humdinger tried to reassure himself that they were safe indoors. Suddenly, Ryder appeared to save them, but the power was cut. Initially hesitant, the mayor eventually entered the elevator, and Ryder informed him that he would manually release the cables. The young man counted down the seconds and successfully activated the lever, securing Humdinger's escape. However, as Ryder prepared to descend, the entire tower began to collapse onto the adjacent building. Seeing his best friend in peril, Chase rushed to help, narrowly avoiding being struck by falling debris. To reach Ryder faster, the dog activated his motorcycle and raced up the building. Despite his efforts, the gusty winds caused the rope attached to his hook to plunge down, dragging Chase along. After overcoming his initial scare, Chase mustered all his courage and made a daring leap to the other side, fully aware of the grave danger of falling from a tremendous height. Thankfully, he managed to make it across and discovered Ryder trapped beneath a large concrete block. Assisting him in freeing himself, the pair shared a heartfelt hug, and Ryder expressed his immense pride in his friend. They worked together to find a way to safety. Meanwhile, Skye navigated through the turbulent clouds and reached the cloud-catching device. Despite the passage of time, the machine continued to churn out heavy clouds, intensifying the storm. Skye fired a net to capture the device, but she was struck by lightning, causing the rope to break. She quickly stabilized her aircraft and made a second attempt. Accelerating her helicopter toward the machine, Skye hit the eject button just seconds before the collision. She narrowly escaped the explosion that destroyed the device, and the clouds dissipated. Skye descended rapidly but managed to activate her propulsion jets to land safely. Unfortunately, her helicopter was completely wrecked. As Ryder and Chase exited the building, the entire Paw Patrol assembled, overjoyed to have emerged unscathed from such a harrowing mission. With the danger now behind them, the city's residents emerged from the shelter and showered the Paw Patrol with congratulations for their outstanding work. Meanwhile, Mayor Humdinger attempted to make a sneaky escape, but Chase arrested him for his negligence, which had put people's lives in danger, and for his role in capturing the town's dogs. In an effort to evade punishment, Humdinger tried to flee, but Skye activated her mini drone and successfully apprehended him. As a token of gratitude for their heroic actions, the Paw Patrol received the key to the city. Ryder took advantage of the special occasion to introduce Liberty as the team's new official member. However, before he could conclude his speech, the Paw Patrol was called for a new mission, this time with the company of their new member. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more interesting movies.